So in my last video, guys, I went over the top 5 best solo drop spots in Chapter 4 Season 4. As you guys know, with this brand new season, there have been 3 new major POIs added and a bunch of smaller map changes around the whole map. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the top 3 best duo drop spots for every different type of team and how you guys can exactly play them and benefit from them. Now be sure to stick around to the end of this video so you guys actually understand each and everything about these specific drop spots because there are some important details. Let's hop right into this video. So I want to start off by going over the Shore Shack and Beach Split. Now Shore Shack is actually a small drop spot that I went over in my solo drop spots video, and I really enjoy the general drop spot for solos. However, in duos, I think you need to very much have Shore Shack and the beach as a split drop. Now some benefits of this POI, obviously it is very close to Relentless Retreat. It's an extremely beneficial POI when it comes to having really good line of sight for Surge. You guys can easily get tags on people landing at Relentless Retreat. Obviously another really good thing is that it's really close to Shattered Slabs, Frenzy Farm. You have really good access to other POIs while you're going to be landing here. Now, in terms of the general specs of Shore Shack and the Beach Split, it's going to be having 14 chests, 5 coolers, 1 hollow chest. In terms of materials, you guys can get plenty of wood from the trees, brick from the stones, and then metal from the metal structures on the beach and also at the house. In terms of how many people will be contesting you at this drop spot, there's going to be around 1 to 2 players max if you guys are obviously going to be landing here. However, another really big thing that I did go over in my solo drop spots video, Shore Shack and the Beach Split might be a backup drop spot for duos that don't have the greatest drop for Relentless Retreat that try to back out and go over to that spot. So that's one thing you guys do need to be mindful of. Learn how to get the best drop spot for this POI, learn how to land first, and learn where the good loot is so that you guys can easily win off-spawn fights if somebody is backing out from Relentless Retreat and landing at your drop spot as a backup. That's a general really good way to get early eliminations and early surge right off the rip, and generally that's the biggest hurdle when it comes to high landing at Shore Shack and the Beach Split. Now guys, in terms of where you guys should be landing as a duo, one person should obviously be landing at the Shore Shack house, and then I think another person should be simply landing down at the 3 chest location in the small little circle, and then they can rotate around the beach, farming wood, farming brick, farming metal from those little lifeguard things. Easily, I think that's the best way for you guys to split this drop in terms of where each person lands. Overall, Shore Shack and the Beach Split is a very solid, low-level, low-key drop spot for duos. It's really solid and it's in a good location of the map. Rotation won't be too hard. Obviously, it is a bit on the edge of the map. However, there are different attributes that you guys can use to rotate, such as the water. You guys can obviously get shockwaves, different other mobility items. You guys can use slap shoes to rotate. Pretty much rotation isn't that much of an issue nowadays. But what's really important is that you land at this drop spot and you know exactly how to play it. Now moving on to the next drop spot, this is going to be one that I went over in the previous season's drop spot video. This is going to be Sun Swoon Lagoon. Now this is located pretty much right next to Creaky Compound. This is personally one of my favorites because it hasn't really changed too much in the last season, and I think that's really beneficial because it's what makes it one of the best drop spots on the map. Sun Swoon Lagoon is going to be located very central, so rotation is going to be great. Also, it's really close to Eclipse Estate. It's really close to Creaky Compound and Rumble Ruins. It's also reasonably close to Shattered Slabs if you guys do want to go there for some reason. Overall, the location of this drop spot is a really big benefit for those of you who want to consider landing there. I think that that's actually one of the biggest benefits of this POI. And obviously Sun Swoon Lagoon is going to be located in the jungle biome, which gives you really good abilities and really good benefits, as you guys know. Now I'm going to cover those by going over the specs of this drop spot. In terms of the specs, we have 17 chests, 10 slurp barrels, 5 coolers, 5 slurp plants, 1 forecast tower, which is a brand new addition that gives you guys mythic weapons and also could give you access to slurp juices as well. It can also show you when the next zone is, but that's a whole other video that I'm going to be going over. Then it's also going to be having a hollow chest, a launch pad nearby, and then plenty of materials from the trees around the area. You guys can get wood, brick from the stones around the area, that's not that hard either, and then metal from the slurp barrels, and you guys can rotate over to Creaky Compound if you need extra metal, of course. In terms of how many people may be landing here, it's going to be 2 to 3 max. Obviously, people who are not wanting to land at Creaky Compound that want to kind of back out and use this as a backup drop might be landing here, and you do need to know how to fight them, but I still think Sun Swoon Lagoon is a really valuable POI for those of you who want to land somewhere pretty stacked, but that place that's not too high-key and populated. Obviously guys, in terms of where you should be landing, it's pretty self-explanatory, I'd say. One person should be obviously landing at the main building of Sun Swoon Lagoon, and then the other person can land on top of the trees and learn how to rotate throughout those tree areas. They can use the grind rails, they can use anything they really need in order to rotate around the area, and then efficiently get all of the amount of loot that they actually need. Obviously guys, I'd recommend try to save as much shield as you possibly can at this POI. Use all the slurp plants, use all the slurp barrels, all that stuff is really important. That's stuff that you really need to consider when you actually are landing. Sun Swoon Lagoon, though, in my opinion, is one of the best drop spots currently in the game. So if you guys are looking for kind of a lightly contested drop spot to land at, a place where you can get a lot of surge, good eliminations, good loot, and have really easy rotation, Sun Swoon Lagoon is really good. Now moving on to, of course, the third drop spot. This is going to be a named POI like I normally go over, and in today's video, I want to go over Relentless Retreat. Now in my solo drop spots video, I went over Sanguine Suites, Obviously, Sanguine Sweets is very solid. It is a mythic POI, as is Relentless Retreat. However, I think that Relentless Retreat has its own set of benefits, those ranging from general ways to split this drop spot and general ways to land here and not get eliminated. Now, obviously, Relentless Retreat is in the shape of kind of a circle. It's like a circle of little islands. I personally think that the reason this drop spot is so powerful is because you can land on any one of these islands and still contend for getting the mythic weapon in the vault. It's obviously also a very stacked POI. A lot of people will be landing here, so if you do end up out on the top, you guys are not going to need to worry about surge or eliminations pretty much for the rest of the game. Now, getting into the specs of Relentless Retreat, it's going to be having 30 plus chests, which is a wild number. It's going to have 10 heist bags, which are pretty much chests, except I'd argue better. It's also going to have 5 coolers, 5 slap barrels, 5 slurp barrels, a vault, of course. Obviously, the option to get mythic weapons, which is really helpful in competitive nowadays. You guys can obviously use vending machines too. And then the plenty of materials from the trees, the stones, and then the metal from the buildings. Obviously, trees and stones are going to be giving you guys wood and brick. I think that the specs of this drop spot absolutely are insane. Of course, it's a brand new drop spot. It's a mythic POI. It's one of the strongest drops on the map right now. However, like I said before, one of the biggest benefits of Relentless Retreat is the massive circle and crescent shape that it has. It also has really good access to rotation through the roads if you guys want to use that. But I'd also argue a really good benefit of this POI is the fact that it's not actually attached to the mainland. So it's not like third parties are going to be that common. People can sneak up on you, of course, but it's not like third parties are going to be the main focus of this POI as they would be in the Citadel coming from up top. Relentless Retreat is kind of on the bottom left corner of the map, so it's unlikely that a whole section of the map is going to try and W key you, especially since you're probably not going to get the zone. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that third parties aren't really going to be that common at this POI. And of course, guys, it obviously has the vault. Really helpful different situations for you guys to have this vault. Pretty much everything you need from a POI, this POI will have. Obviously, like I said before, you have really good access to Frenzy Fields, Shattered Slabs, other POIs, of course. But in terms of where you guys should be landing as a split drop, obviously, Relentless Retreat is quite big. I think that if you guys are pretty much trying to land somewhere as a split drop, you really shouldn't. I think you guys should be always landing together. So I'd recommend you guys both try to land on the small 2 houses, one of the ones being on the farthest crescent island, one of the ones being on the biggest crescent island. Either one of those 2 places, I think, are one of the greatest spots to land because you can land there, loot up, and then push into the building without having to deal with all the chaos of the big building at first. Personally, I think that that's one of the best ways to land at Relentless Retreat and actually succeed, and hopefully you guys can also follow that same advice. Guys, those are the 3 best duo drop spots ranging from least populated to most populated. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think that these 3 drop spots are really solid. Obviously, there are plenty of other drop spots from previous seasons. However, I wanted to try to include as many new season drop spots that I could in this video. If you guys are curious about other old drop spots, you guys can check out my old drop spots videos from chapter 4, and they're going to be really helpful for you guys. I definitely think so. But that's about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.